Marcus Aurelius, the Emperor in the Rain. It was early morning in the Roman camp near the Danube frontier. The fog hung low over the rugged hills, and the air was sharp with the scent of damp earth. Soldiers stirred from their tents, and the clang of armor echoed faintly through the mist. Inside a modest tent, not the largest, not the most decorated, Marcus Aurelius sat on a wooden stool, writing by the dim light of a flickering oil lamp. His cloak was rough wool, and his face, though noble, wore the marks of strain, deep lines on his forehead and the heavy quiet of a man burdened with the world. But in his hands was his journal, the pages now well worn with years of use. Begin each day by telling yourself, "Today I shall meet with interference, ingratitude, insolence, disloyalty, ill will, and selfishness, all of them due to the offender's ignorance of what is good or evil." He whispered these words, not to prepare for war, but to prepare for life. For Marcus, the battle was not only with barbarian tribes, but within himself. Each morning was a confrontation with ego, desire, fear, and distraction. The humble emperor, unlike many rulers, Marcus refused luxury. He slept on a simple bed of straw while on campaign. He ate what his soldiers ate: coarse bread, boiled vegetables, and occasionally dried meat. His philosophy was simple: live according to nature. That meant not indulging in what was unnecessary or artificial. When offered lavish feasts, he declined. He would say, "If I can satisfy hunger with lentils, why should I crave the flavor of flamingo tongue?" Many Roman elites found this absurd. But Marcus believed the greater the power, the more important self-control became. He knew that wealth could corrupt faster than poverty could humble. So he wore modest robes and walked without a parade. He wrote not to impress, but to remind himself, "You are but a man, you will die. Let your life be worthy of remembrance, not for its pleasures, but for its principles." Discipline over desire. One cold winter, a messenger brought word of a rebellion in a Roman province. The temptation to act rashly, to exert power and dominate, swelled within his advisers. But Marcus remained calm. He said, "Let us not be ruled by our emotions, but by reason. A king who cannot govern his own impulses cannot govern a province." He delayed judgment. He listened. He gathered facts. And when he responded, it was not with cruelty, but clarity. His command restored peace without unnecessary bloodshed. His restraint wasn't weakness. It was power in its highest form. Even in daily life, Marcus trained like a soldier of the soul. He would wake before sunrise, meditate, reflect. He believed the mind, like the body, must be exercised. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. He kept no jesters. He rarely drank wine. He read philosophy, from Epictetus to Socrates. He fasted occasionally, not for religion, but for mastery over appetite. He wrote to himself as a reminder of what mattered: to live rightly, to act justly, to speak truth, and to embrace death when it comes. The rain and the refuge. One day, while on horseback during a military inspection, heavy rain began to fall. Most generals would have retreated to shelter. Not Marcus. He rode with his soldiers through the storm. Rain soaked his garments, mud splashed on his cloak, and his beard dripped with cold water. A young centurion approached and asked, "Caesar, would you not prefer to wait it out in your tent?" Marcus looked up at the grey sky and said with a smile, "Do the crops not welcome the rain? Do not the birds sing despite it? Why should we curse what nature gives?" This simple moment became legend, not because of dramatic action, but because of quiet character. Soldiers would say, "He shares the rain with us, how can we not follow him?" Marcus believed in leadership by example, not command. When troops were wounded, he sat beside them. When rations were low, he ate last. When morale was broken, he lifted spirits not with speeches, but with his presence. He once told his generals, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Let ours remain disciplined, even when the sky turns black." Loss and love. Despite his discipline, Marcus was not without pain. He lost many children to illness. His beloved wife, Faustina, was far away during many campaigns. His health declined as age crept in. He suffered from stomach issues, fatigue, and frequent headaches. But he never allowed grief to defeat him. In one heartbreaking entry in his journal, he wrote, "What is death? A cessation of impressions, a return to the whole. Should I grieve that the leaf falls in autumn?" Still, his love remained constant. In letters, he called Faustina "my soul's calm," and the rose that blooms in my winter. When he could, he sent her tokens from the frontier, flowers pressed in books, verses he had written, and even a simple clay ring made by a soldier's daughter. It wasn't gold, but it was full of meaning. Marcus knew that love was not measured by luxury, but by presence, sacrifice, and sincerity. The Stoic legacy. As the years passed, his strength weakened. Yet even in his final days, Marcus refused luxury. When offered a golden deathbed, he declined. "Let me die as I have lived, honest, simple, in accordance with nature." Before his death, he summoned his son Commodus, a boy of privilege. Marcus tried to pass on the wisdom he had lived by. "Do not seek fame, seek virtue. Do not crave applause, crave truth. Rule not for power, but to serve the people." Sadly, Commodus did not live up to these teachings, but the failure of others never erased the virtue of Marcus himself. After his passing, the soldiers wept, not because they lost an emperor, but because they lost a father. Why his story still matters. In a world driven by ego, greed, and speed, Marcus Aurelius is a reminder. Power does not corrupt if the soul is anchored. Fame is empty without integrity. And happiness is not found in comfort, but in virtue lived daily. His meditations, never meant for the world, became one of the greatest books ever written. Not because it teaches how to conquer empires, but how to conquer the self. His life tells us, wake early and master your morning. Control desire before it controls you. Speak less, act more, find beauty in simplicity. And when the rain falls, ride through it.